Learning English with the Bible sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that walking with God could be the secret to becoming fluent, not just in language, but in life? Think about it. If you've been stuck repeating the same mistakes, forgetting your words, or feeling like your prayers in progress are going nowhere, maybe the problem isn't your brain. Maybe it's your direction. Because how can you speak with confidence if you're not walking with purpose? In the next few minutes, you're going to see how 5 powerful lessons from walking with God can transform your English and your heart forever. It's not just learning, it's living. Ready to walk. Lesson 1. Listening first. Why walking with God starts with silence. Have you ever tried to learn something new while everyone was talking at the same time? It's chaotic, confusing, and overwhelming. Walking with God is no different. Before you speak better English, before you improve your conversations, before you post that comment, you need silence. Not the silence of giving up, but the silence of attention. In Proverbs, wisdom doesn't scream, she whispers, and only those who pause to listen can hear her. In a world of noise, notifications, pressure, opinions, learning to be still is revolutionary. It sharpens your focus, tunes your heart, and opens your mind to truths that change everything. When was the last time you truly listened? Not just to others, but to God and to yourself. Now, let's connect this to English. You can memorize all the vocabulary in the world, but if you're not listening, really listening, you'll miss the tone, the meaning, the emotion behind the words. Some of the best speakers are powerful not because they speak much, but because they say what matters. That's the fruit of silence. The next time you're tempted to rush your answer, pause, let silence do its work. Just like God guides those who stop and listen, you'll find your words becoming more clear, impactful, and wise. This is the first real step of walking with God and walking in powerful English. But what happens when you take that first small step? Lesson 2. Step by step, the power of small obedience. We often imagine walking with God as something grand and dramatic like parting seas or preaching to nations. But what if it starts with something as small as saying yes to one simple thing, one sentence, one habit, one decision? That's how language is learned. That's how faith grows. God rarely asks for a leap. He asks for a step, one word at a time. That's how you become fluent in anything spiritually or linguistically. The people who grow in their walk with God are not the loudest. They're the most consistent. And this principle, it applies directly to your English too. Stop waiting for the perfect day to study or pray. Obey the moment, practice the phrase. Show up even if your grammar isn't flawless. Each time you obey even in the small things, you're building fluency in a new life. Have you ever noticed how kids learn to speak? They mimic, they follow, they stumble, then try again. That's not failure, that's growth. God designed learning to be humble. And when you walk with Him, He celebrates each small yes like it's a major victory. So, The next time you finish a 5-minute English practice or repeat a verse aloud, realize this isn't just practice. It's spiritual alignment. It's obedience. And obedience brings transformation. But what happens when you stumble? Does that mean you've lost your walk? Lesson 3. When you fall, don't run, walk closer. Let's be honest. Sometimes we fail. We say the wrong thing. We get nervous and freeze. We promise to study or pray and then forget. It happens in English, it happens in faith. But here's the real danger. It's not the fall itself. It's what you do after. Most people fall, then hide. They feel shame. They stay silent. They avoid the next conversation, or worse, they believe they're not good enough to keep trying. But walking with God is not about never falling. It's about choosing to keep walking even when you do. David, Moses, Peter, they all fell. But they didn't run away. They walked back toward God, and that made all the difference. You see, the same principle applies to learning English. You might pronounce something wrong, use the wrong tense, forget a word. So what? That's part of the journey. Don't let shame stop your steps. Every mistake is a step closer. You respond with courage. Walking with God teaches us not to run from failure, but to walk into growth. And every time you choose not to give up, you're becoming stronger, wiser, and more fluent in language and in spirit. The walk continues. But now, how does walking with God actually change the way you speak? Lesson 4. Walking with purpose changes your voice. Words have power. But they don't have meaning unless they come from a place of purpose. When you walk with God, your steps aren't random, and neither are your words. Have you ever met someone who speaks with clarity and peace, even in chaos? That's not talent. That's purpose. And when you find your purpose, your voice changes. You begin to speak from conviction, not from fear, from love, not ego. You no longer just want to be understood, you want to be impactful. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So the question is, what's overflowing in your heart? When you learn English with purpose, real purpose, it's not just about job interviews or travel. It's about expressing the deeper truths inside you. It's about connecting, building, inspiring. Imagine saying something simple like thank you, and it carrying warmth and truth. That's not grammar. That's transformation. So next time you speak, whether in English or in prayer, ask yourself, am I walking with purpose? Am I speaking with light? And if you are, what would happen if your beliefs matched your words? Lesson 5. Speak what you believe, the secret to divine fluency. There's a moment when you stop memorizing and start living what you've learned. That's true in both faith and language. You can study vocabulary for years and still feel blocked if what you're saying doesn't come from what you truly believe. Walking with God teaches us alignment. It shows us that truth is not just known, it's spoken. That's why declarations in the Bible are so powerful. Let there be light, peace, be still. They weren't just phrases, they were spoken beliefs. So let me ask, what are you speaking over your life, over your learning, over your future? You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need to sound like a native. What you need is truth spoken fluently, spoken boldly. Imagine declaring, I am learning every day. I am growing. I will speak with clarity. These aren't just motivational phrases, they're spiritual practices. They reshape your identity. And that's the core of fluency, not just in English, but in life. So today, speak what you believe. And if you don't believe it yet, speak until you do. Because something powerful happens when your words and your walk align. Every step you take with God transforms more than just your spirit. It rewires the way you speak, think, and lead. These 5 lessons aren't random. They are your foundation. They're the reason your English can grow deeper, more confident, and more truthful. So, which of these lessons moved you the most? Have you been running from failure, or are you ready to walk through it? Have you been speaking doubt or truth? I want to hear from you. Comment below and let me know, what step are you taking today to walk with God and speak with purpose? Don't forget subscribe and turn on notifications. Because each video on this channel isn't just a lesson in English, it's a walk of faith. And we're walking it together.